Support for this episode is provided by Acme Tools. You can support my channel by making your next tool purchase at my Acme Tool store. I'll have a link in the description below. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the shop. First, I want to say a big thank you to American Greenlights. They were the kick in the butt to get this project started. And once I finish with the shop expansion, I'll be replacing all the old fluorescent lighting with new American Greenlight LEDs. So really excited about that. This is relatively a small shop. It's only about 16 by 24, so just under 400 square feet. There is a back room to the shop. At one point, that was a covered porch. It had been closed in, and then it turned into kind of a catch-all storage space. So the plan is to take everything off of that back wall and then take the wall down. It's not a load-bearing wall, so I don't have to worry about that. And that's going to give me an additional 90 square feet, making the shop about 20% larger. So really excited about it. Let's get to it. Okay, so now I've got most everything removed from the wall except for the fan. And I just want to think about that a little bit more, maybe do a little work on the other side and kind of get a better idea of how this fan was set into the wall. And when I take the wall down, I'm not just going to bang into it with a sledgehammer like you often see in the home shows. It's better to think about it a bit and take the wall down kind of the way it went up. So first I'll remove the molding at the ceiling, I'll remove the baseboard molding, I'll remove the casing around the door, and then the switch plates, all of the electrical switch plates. And then when I take the sheetrock down, I want to be mindful to save the insulation because I'm going to use that in the shed that's attached to the other side of the barn. I think this thing is hanging by just one screw. So I've got a clamp here to temporarily, hopefully, hold it in place. And there's a lot of pressure on this screw, so I may end up stripping it. We'll see. I've set the drill, or the impact driver, at 1, so it's not turning very fast and it's less likely to strip it. I think I have to reposition. I don't really want to be underneath it, but this might give me some more leverage. Okay. Okay, looks like it's going to come down, so. Alright, might be one screw still holding it. I want to. You always got to be careful when you're doing stuff like this yourself because you can easily get hurt. You just want to think about what you're doing. See what I mean? Jeez. Gotta be careful. Okay, so that worked out okay. A little bit of luck involved. And in case you're wondering, that is how I used to get to the second floor of the barn back before there were steps on the outside of the building. So I wanted to take this down because it's framed out with 4x4s, and I want to remove that because the ceilings are just about 8 feet 2 inches high. And those 4x4s coming down 3.5 inches make it really difficult to maneuver a full sheet of plywood. Well, I don't know if it looks as big on camera, but the shop just feels so much bigger. I mean, it is 20% bigger, so that's a big difference. I do have a bit of a threshold issue there. I'm not concerned with it because I'm the only person working in the shop, so I'll just be mindful of it. Maybe I'll paint it a different color, add a piece of molding with a slight angle on it so it's not so severe, as much of a trip hazard. I'm really excited about putting the new lighting in. I'm going to have 3 lights back here. So eventually I'll have a proper workbench right here. This cabinet's going to go away. I built that cabinet around 1989, and I built that for my parents when they moved. There was nowhere for it to go, so it came in the shop, and it's just been in the shop ever since. It's been useful, but it's dated, out of style, and I don't really like the way it looks in the shop. So, thinking about what's going to happen next in the shop here are a lot of shop projects. I want to get my planer on a cabinet, have it on wheels. I want to build an assembly table here. That was one of the main inspirations because my biggest problem with this shop was I would use my outfeed table as an assembly table, and then anytime I needed to use the table saw, I had to move everything around. So the idea of having an assembly table the same height, maybe a little lower, I'm not sure yet, but definitely not higher than my outfeed table is going to be great. And then over here, the idea of a proper workbench with a vise is definitely something I'm looking forward to sometime in the future. So next time we will be installing the new lighting, and I think I'll give a shop tour. It's been a while since I did a shop tour, so if there's anything specifically that you want to see in the shop or know about the shop, let me know in the comments and I'll talk about them then. All right, that's all for now. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.